All right, more trouble with schools. A Marine right out of boot camp is barred from wearing his Marine Corps uniform to his high school commencement ceremony. Jacob Stanley finished school in the fall. Actually, in December, he graduated high school, but decided to return to his hometown in Indiana to walk with his graduating class this week. But when he showed up in his Marine blues, dressed like that, they turned him away and didn't even read his name, even though his name was in the program. Here to weigh in is one of Stanley's classmates, Crown Point High School graduate Jessica Jonda. Jessica, thank you very much for joining us this morning. So first of all, if you would, tell us a little bit about Private First Class Jacob Stanley. He graduated in December, went to join the Marines, and then came back. What kind of guy is he?
He's a pretty good guy. I didn't know him personally, but I've always heard great things about him.
And it's not easy to graduate early. I imagine it takes some extra effort to say, hey, I want to graduate in December so I can go enlist in the Marines.
Yes, he was a very hard worker, obviously.
Obviously, absolutely. Well, when it came to the graduation, were you aware that he was planning to wear his uniform? Were students talking about it, or did you just find out about it after the fact?
I actually found out about it the next day when I went to return my cap and gown that he didn't get to go up on stage with us, and it was very disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, tell me about that. As a classmate of this young man who decided he's going to put his life on the line, enlist in the Marines, and fight on our behalf, how does it make you feel when the school says, you know what, sorry, you can't walk with that?
I was very disappointed, and I felt very sorry for Jacob.
Now, the principal, your principal, Chip Pettit, I believe, now he put out a statement. They didn't do this arbitrarily. They believe they had a reason for it. This is what he said. He said, this tradition is not intended to be disrespectful to students, parents, or our community, but as a source of pride for our students. So he's saying everyone who walks in a cap and gown, and we've always enforced that, and we want to continue to enforce it. So our policy is no exceptions. Do you feel like, though, for a uniform, for a Marine who is a graduate, that it's worth making an exception to that policy?
Yeah, I felt it should have been done. He was very proud to be a Marine, obviously. He should have been able to walk with us and get his diploma after working so hard and putting his life on the line for this country.
Absolutely. I mean, what's the conversations been like with your friends and others after this? Is there a sense that a big injustice was done? Is there any way to fix it, or is it ultimately it happened and we will try to express our appreciation any way we can?
Yeah, unfortunately what's happened has happened, but we are showing appreciation for Jacob Stanley. We do feel awful, and he is a hard worker, and I feel like we really let down his family and himself.
Well, certainly you and other members of your community that support the military didn't let him down. Unfortunately, the school and the principal obsessing over technicalities of a policy ultimately disrespected a serving Marine. PFC Stanley did put out a brief statement. He said he doesn't want this social media controversy to be drawing attention away from your class, the class of 2017. He also does not want to make any additional statements, and he wants to put it all behind him and start his career in the Marine Corps. So sounds like a stand-up guy. And Jessica, thank you very much for bringing attention to this and for joining us this morning.